All right. This is my explanation of what's here. I'll remove this first. Alright, we've got an Olight Arc Pro. This is your flashlight. It also has a black light. I don't know if you can see that in the video, but it has a black light. And then you can switch it to a flood or a stream. It's rechargeable. Maybe a little base. So that just sits in there and charges, and this goes to a USB. We'll send you a book with it. So there's that. This is a Leatherman Wave Alpha with a special pocket clip that I installed on it. If you don't want the pocket clip, it comes off really easy, but it helps hold it in your pants. So thought you might like that. It has a very, very nice Magna Cut blade on it. Do some research, you'll understand what that's about. Super sharp. Watch yourself on it. That's how you close it. Just got a little thing, lever right there to be able to close that. And then on the other stuff that's open, like this screwdriver, when it's open, it snaps open, doesn't close back until you squeeze this lever right here. There you go. All right. Also important to note that especially on this one that has this little flat screwdriver bit. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those. I had not until I got one of these. That little flat bit comes out, and that kind of starts getting us into like this little ratchet driver here will fit in there, and that has a hex, 1/4 inch hex on it. So that's a ratcheting screwdriver. Really takes that from being a useless device to something that's very, very useful. So this is kind of modular. Other stuff that's on this, you've got a file, you've got the blade, you've got a saw, there's a pair of scissors, a decent pair of scissors too. I can't remember what all's in here. There's just a flathead screwdriver, there's a pair of eyeglass, or there's an eyeglass screwdriver here that's two-sided. You have a flat and you have a small Phillips, and then you also have an awl for drilling holes, stuff like that over here. And then you got a bottle opener, can opener, and then the flat driver style setup here. And then you got cutters. You can replace the cutters if they get damaged, and that's that. So there's that. This will make sense in a minute. This is a 13 and a 14 millimeter that's got a hex drive to it. That'll make sense in a minute. Yeah. Here is just a simple 1/4 inch hex to 1/4 inch drive square for being able to get in tight quarters and turn a 1/4 inch drive socket. This is a screwdriver handle that fits this flat ratchet, so you can turn that into a small, not very much torque screwdriver, but if you're trying to do some fine work that doesn't take a lot of torque, that lives there. And then this is interesting because this is just a straight 1/4 inch bit driver and extension that can be used like that, and it also can be used for one of these bits. We'll just pick a random one here. Goes on here like this, and then you've got a really, really short, shallow screwdriver for some of those weird, tight to reach spots. I don't know why I think this, but I think of a place like a evaporator core or something like that, where you're trying to reach up and steering column, maybe keep from having to take something else apart to do something. There's a bunch of hex bits in here, Torx bits. It's funny how they're flat. They actually do work for the most part. Phillips heads, flat heads, metric and standard hex. So this kit here all sticks together. All this lives over here in this pouch right here, including this. All right. And then this is a Icon. It's made by Harbor Freight. It's an Icon kit. It's just a hex kit that I added some stuff to it. And remember that socket I was showing you a few minutes ago? We have 2 more sockets here, and it's convenient. I was able to put them on this little extension here that came with this kit. So I figured out that you could take these and slide these together, and you have a 7, 8, 10, and 12 millimeter socket there that are driven by that hex. And in this ratchet, it's a really, really fine tooth ratchet, and it's flex head. So you can actually operate this setup like this, all right? And of course, all of this hex stuff fits with that. You have a 1/4 inch adapter, all that stuff, so all that works. And then some of this other stuff will start making sense now. I got you an extra ratchet. This one fits. This is pretty cool. This fits on where your bits are, the flat bit. Okay, so we're gonna close that, pull that flat bit out. We're gonna take this bit, and then now I've got a ratchet here that works out of your toolkit. So to me, I thought that was pretty neat, and that lives back here. I made all this stuff with a 3D printer so it could just live on this little pack out here. This is a flat to 1/4 inch drive, just a straight 1/4 inch drive. This is a hex to 1/4 inch drive. It's about 2 inches long here, and then there's about a 6 inch. This is your drive shaft that's actually meant for those sockets. So the end with the magnet on it, that should slide in here, and now that's what actually turns and operates your 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, and 14 millimeter sockets. This is a fine kit. So that's what that's all about. And then we got you this was kind of an afterthought, but it works really well. This is a Swiss Army knife made by Victorinox. Gives you a little blade, gives you another blade with a screwdriver. It's really a file and a screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, and then you've got a pair of scissors over here. So as long as this toolkit is somewhere where you need it, then you have access to that. Also you have a set of tweezers in here, which I think is awesome, and you have a toothpick. So as long as that thing is wherever you need those things, you'll have that. And then we flip it over. We've got a pair of Knipex. That's the correct way to say Knipex, by the way. I learned that recently. That is a German brand, and I'm sure that you've seen these on Snap-on truck or whatever. These just pop out, and they slide out just like that, and they go right back, and they live right there. So that's their home right there. And then you've got one more hex adapter here. It's a magnetic Hercules hex adapter. Nothing special, just a 1/4 inch hex, but it gives you about a 3 inch extension so that you can utilize all that stuff. Oh, by the way, the cool thing about all of these flat bits is that any 1/4 inch hex, these actually will slide in, and the hex will turn these. all right, as long as they're deep enough. So those will actually, that is the drive shaft for any of these flat bits too. So you don't have to have hex bits in order to make that work, all right? So take that back, put this back where it goes. I think that that's basically the nuts and bolts of what all this is about. Is just trying to make sure that you understood why we have what we have here, and when it all shows up in a box, then it'll all make good sense to you. So I'm gonna try to put this away while we're talking here, so it's easy for you to find. I put this, put the bit set over here with the rope on it, and then we're gonna take the flashlight and stuff him in here, and then try to put as much of these little long, matter of fact, I think that one's together, right? So slide that together in there, slide this together in here, slide these guys together in here, and then the last piece is this. And so these two pieces should cover, I don't know, a lot of things that you could get yourself into when you're away from your toolbox. Maybe they live in the glove box. I don't know if this stuff's gonna live very well in the hot sun, like on the dash of your car or something. I wouldn't necessarily leave it out there. But, you know, it's something that you can grab and go pretty quickly if you think you'll need some tools with you, or you're taking a quick trip or something like that. I just would keep it out of the direct sunlight, and you know, probably under 110 degrees would make sense. This is probably a nightstand kind of a situation to keep your light charged all the time, or maybe on the counter, or maybe your kitchen table, something like that. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know.